Hey everyone, this is Javi of the Inner Child Collective. Have you ever thought of starting your own podcast? Well, if so, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. I've been using this platform for a while and I love it because it's free, easy to use, and it'll distribute your podcast for you so you'll be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. But what's even better is that you'll get paid for all your hard work and dedication and with no minimum listenership. So, what are you waiting for? Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Once again.
Hey, everybody, this is Javi, and you are listening to the Inner Child Collective, where you and your inner child heal for the better. Welcome, and how are you? For those who are um, finding me, I am a psychic, intuitive medium, and author who uses divination and storytelling to help people overcome generational trauma. And one way I do that is by tapping into inner child energy. So I hope that everyone here listening is still working with full moon wolf energy, and I hope everyone is doing well and being and making sure that you're taking care of yourself because last week was really intense. It really was. There was a lot of releasing of things that no longer serve us, um, and us making room, for new abundance energy. I also know that because the full moon was so intense and it was in Cancer, there's been some intense energy that affected people's moods, significantly. A lot of old traumatic childhood memories were coming up. Shadow energy was coming up and testing us. People, places, and situations coming back and testing us. Depression, anxiety, around those type of things. There was a lot of, in addition to the releasing, there was a lot of grief that came with that. Depending on who and what we were letting go of. So I was feeling it this past week. And if you're an empath or highly sensitive person, I'm pretty sure that you have as well. Um, but we got through it. We definitely got through it. And I personally feel that energy shift, that sense of relief that is all over with, at least for the time being. So last week was a mess. Last week was a whole mess for empaths and highly spiritual people, or sensitive people rather. Um, but we're here for a fresh start. It's like we started from the bottom, now we're here, right? So again, I hope y'all were taking care of yourself. Um, drinking water, eating food, sleeping as much as you possibly could, because I know that a lot of folks had some issues with sleeping as well. So um, be sure that you're able to do that, and take care of yourself, take care of your body, your mind, and spirit. So yeah, yeah. Um, a lot of people were going through it. I was seeing it through social media and or on social media rather, and like Twitter, Facebook. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy," right? But I'm glad that we've gotten through it. So we have a lot to talk about today. We definitely have a lot to talk about. But before I get started with the topic for tonight, I want to talk about the importance of reviews. Now, I know people listen to the show. Thank y'all. Thank you so much for doing so. I really appreciate you and your energy and your support. Um, and I'd like to know what you think about the podcast so far. So if you're on Apple Podcast or whatever hosting site that that features the Inner Child Collective, I highly encourage you to leave a review, because the more reviews the Inner Child Collective gets, the more likely people will listen, and it will give me a chance to see what's on your mind, and connect with you, and see what I can do to improve as a host. Because I'm always about improving of myself, as I, continue down this path of podcasting. So please leave a review, and I'll definitely give you a shout out. I'll definitely say, like, look, thank you to so and so for, dropping a line about the podcast or whatnot. So yeah, like, I'm looking forward to your review, um, and seeing what y'all think. So that's all I have to say about that. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm trying to figure out if I have anything else going on. But yeah, I think that's about it. Um, so yes, let's get on with the show. So on this episode, I definitely want to talk about the many stages of our inner selves, how each of them have their own story to tell, and how you can help them be released of their traumatic story through creativity, whether it be writing, dancing, or however. Um, Now, this topic is very important to me because, in addition to doing spiritual work, I'm also an author. Okay, so I'm currently, well, I don't think people know this, but or at least not a lot of people, but I am currently writing a book about my own experiences with childhood abuse. And it's definitely something that a spirit has put on my heart to do for quite some time, but I now have the bravery to put that out there. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, I had like a heavy, um I was lead footing it when it came to this book, just simply because it's very emotional for me, and it's very difficult to write about things in detail that I have not spoken about in a very long time, if at all. And I went through the whole hemming and hawing about, what is this going to look like for my family? What's it going to look like for me? So on and so forth. But um, I can't worry about that. I can't, and I choose not to worry about that, and to keep going, because even though it's scary as fuck, it's also one of the most rewarding things I've ever done for myself, and it definitely helps me tap into my inner child, and is helping me heal. That's all I can ask for. Is about me healing, and I'm not doing this by myself. I have spirit working with me. But I say all that, to get back to um, the point of all that, um, is that while I was reading this book, or writing it rather, and reading it, let's be real, I was writing and reading it, um, I noticed something. I noticed that different parts of myself are wanting to tell their side or their version of what happened. Okay? They want to tell their story. And what I mean is that it's just not my 5-year old, my inner 5-year old wanting to talk and wanting to come forward. But there's also my 10-year old, 11-year old, 16-year old, 20-year old, and then there's me. Then there's me, after my transition and my experiences with that. So all of those parts of me have experienced trauma in some way, shape, or form. And they've all have like different views of the world, which shape their ideologies, interests, their self-worth, their interactions with others, their intersections, because we have different intersections depending on how we were raised, and our social economic status, and all kinds of stuff, as far as our intersections, play a huge part in how we are treated. And they even have their own coping mechanisms. Each parts of us, each part of our inner selves rather. So it's like, when it comes to our healing, we're to understand that there are many parts of ourselves, that are hurting and affected by um, childhood trauma. It's not just one part. It's not just one part, because we go through many different stages, many different trajectories, when it comes to being human, right? In our life experiences. So we have to understand that we're carrying trauma from other lifetimes in our DNA. And that's a whole nother episode altogether as far as past lives and what our past life, has gone, who we were before we, returned to Earth, you know, we've gone through that person, and that person has gone through stuff, and they have their own stages, but like I said, a whole nother episode altogether. And the reason why our trauma is in our DNA is because the trauma leaves an imprint, a profound impact that survivors internalize to the point of it being seen and felt as this eternal truth. Like, think of an imprint, and not imprint, not imprint, but imprint. Think of it, as an energetic tattoo that we can only see and feel. Okay, we see it. It's on our skin. It's on our body somewhere. It's in our minds. And it's something that we can only see and feel, at least like the impact of it anyway. Now imagine being tattooed every time something traumatic happened to you. And each tattoo is different, and it reminds us of the event that changed who we are. That's what trauma is like for those who carry it around. And carry it around through many different stages, you know, of our existence. Okay? This means that we have multiple selves: the inner child, the inner teen, inner 20 something, so on and so forth, living within our unconscious mind, who've gone through their own trauma, who have their own history, their imprints, and their own stories to tell. Okay? That's exactly how it is. And when we're doing inner child energy work of any kind, we have to know that, we have others waiting for our attention. Okay? Because they have their own healing to do, they have their own story to tell. Right? And and sometimes I feel like we talk, when we are talking about the conscious mind and our unconscious mind, we talk about them as if they're separate entities, but they're not separate entities. They have a different function, but they are not um, separate. They're not separate at all. They're like pretty much like very much connected, because everything within us is very much connected. Just like we're connected to other people in the world, we're interconnected. So um, when we're doing our work to heal ourselves, breaking generational curses, and removing the imprints, those energetic tattoos in our DNA, reshifting our DNA, the other parts of ourselves begin to notice. They begin to notice. And they'll be coming forward because they're ready to heal as well. Okay, you're not separated from your other selves. They know what's going on. So don't be surprised if some of us start having dreams about various parts of ourselves. I know that I've been going through that, you know, um, having dreams about, different stages of our lives, and that you and them are ready to heal from, and ready to talk about. Because in 2020, in 2020 in general is the year. It's the year of becoming your higher self. And in order for you to become your higher self, you are to meet all of yourself and be aware of the many stages um, that have suffered, the many stages of yourself that have suffered. You know, we're not to be affected by our imprints anymore, because just like tattoos, any other tattoo that we have on our body, that can be removed. The impact of the imprint is not supposed to, make or break us. It is to be removed. Okay? And in order to do that, we are to talk about it. is to be acknowledged. Um, so as far as the tools for this week, that involves writing. Okay, for me, it involves writing and knowing all of your inner selves. Okay, because think of them as a character to a story, to your story. Okay, think of them as that way. They all have a story to tell. Okay, so basically, this is your character development, right? Because you're getting reacquainted with parts of yourself that you may not be proud of or you have forgotten about. So it's best to do this like with one inner self at a time. Because once you start dealing with multiple energies like that, that's when it starts to get overwhelming. Okay, so this is actually an exercise that Spirit has sent down to me, and this is definitely something that I feel will work for you. Okay, so number one, find a quiet place for you to meditate, and if you can't give yourself at least 30 minutes, give yourself at least 30 minutes. Okay, during the meditative process. Okay, because some people you don't have to close your eyes. Okay, also make sure you have a pen and paper with you. Okay, make sure you have a pen and paper with you because during this meditative state, excuse me, imagine yourself meeting one of your inner selves. Tap in the spirit and ask them to connect you to one of your inner selves. Now imagine yourself meeting in their safe place. It could be a library, the ocean, their grandmother's house, whatever they felt safest or wherever they felt safest. Then start asking yourself questions like, what is your name? This is very important, especially if you changed your name or if you're trans, gender nonconforming, and you changed your name legally or whatnot. So, what's your name? What is your age? What's your religious and spiritual affiliations? What school or college did you attend? What were your hobbies, your likes, dislikes? What were those things? And as you're having this conversation, ask them about the event that left the imprint. What was that event? When exactly did it happen? What is it about the event that changed them? And what happened afterwards? Now, these questions are very important because the imprint, the event itself, is what um, tattooed us. Okay, that's what tattooed us, and that's what shifted our perception of the world. Okay, this is about getting into the unconscious mind and finding out what happened. And let your inner self, that inner self that you connected with, let them speak while you actively listen. Because what are they saying? What words are they using when referring to themselves? Pay close attention to those words. Because those are the exact words that you use and react to physically, emotionally, verbally, or otherwise. Finally, knowing the truth now, as you're going through the healing process, what would you tell the inner self you connected with? What words of encouragement would you give them? This is about you recognizing the power you've always had but have forgotten about. So, how can you have the inner self you connected with? How can you help them recognize their own power and their self worth? Remind them that you found a way out, and with your spirit squad, they can do the same. That's extremely important. Remind them that you found a way out. And with your spirit squad, they can do the same. Because a lot of people think that they cannot take themselves out of the situation, but energetically, you can very much remove you and your inner self out from that situation. So they don't have to replay that tape anymore, and neither do you. Afterwards, okay, write about your connection with that inner self. Write about what that inner self that you connected with. Um, write about everything they told you. Write everything. What you can remember. What was that experience like for you as well? Write about that. In addition to writing about their experiences with you, what were your experiences with them? What did they teach you, and what did you teach them? Now, as far as this assignment, this is a lifelong commitment because healing and maintaining that inner peace is eternal. It's very much eternal. Is not like a one-time thing. And the more you study and the more you do this work, the more you realize that both you and your inner self are breaking generational curses. You're both healing. There's going to be times where things may come up, triggers may come up, but then you can use this exercise here um, to finally see that it's just that a trigger. What triggered you? What triggered the both of y'all? What does this remind you of? And then you can do this exercise because to basically determine when it started, like what triggered you, and what did it remind you of, and then you can tap in and realize, okay, this reminds me of something that happened to me when I was 11. What happened, happened to me, today reminded me of what happened to me when I was 15 or 20 or 23, whatever. My point is that writing is a tool for you to understand yourself in different parts of yourself. You're able to process what happened to you when it's in the written word, when it's written down, whether it be longhand typed or whatever. Okay. Because now you're pushing that energy out and you're putting it on paper and you're actually seeing what is going on in your mind, in your unconscious mind and your conscious mind. Okay. So I know we can do this. I know we can do this. Um, because it's time. It's time and we're not by ourselves. Okay. So if you resonated with this half of the show, the first half rather, be sure to let me know in the review section on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also subscribe to the Inner Child Collective as well. And I think it's now time for the Inner Child Energy message. So stay tuned. So I am actually doing the message portion of the episode today. And this is a general reading. Just want to remind you. And I put the intention out there that the message will be for those who resonate with it. I'll be shuffling cards. So if there's a bunch of noise or whatnot, that's what that is, just to give you a heads up. And also, I'll make sure to add the cards that are pulled to the description. So you'll be able um, to see what cards I pulled, you know? So the first card I got here is the Alchemist card. Okay, the archetype card that we received that represents the collective for this week is the Alchemist card. And what I'm getting from this is that we are definitely ready to know ourselves. I'm just getting this whole energy of we're going to know ourselves in 2020. Okay, this is the year to do it. This is the time to do it, and our higher selves are basically calling out to us to be seen and to be heard, and we're being told to be authentic with ourselves and be authentic in the way that we show up in the world. And this is literally the time for especially those who are doing any sort of healing work, that transformation is going to be happening. Transformation is going to be happening whether you're ready for it or not. Because your higher self is extremely powerful, and it's going to In fact, like I said before, all of your inner selves, they are very powerful. Sooner or later, they're going to make noise, okay, and they're waiting to come out and to become a whole person, to help you become a whole person, right? Um, but we are to also realize that in addition to getting to know ourselves, we are to be aware of our intentions, okay, when we are doing this work and what we are changing. Like, we can't misuse our power. We cannot misuse our knowledge. We cannot play victim any longer in regards to ourselves, because we have the power to change our life, right? So this is not the time for us to use our this is not the time to play small. Is what I'm getting. It's not the time to play small. It's not the time for us to see ourselves as victims of our circumstances, because we have the tools. We have the tools, and we have the inner tools, and there's knowledge out there in regards to our inner selves, and in regards to our personal growth. There are books and articles out there that pretty much spell out how we can heal ourselves and what we can do to heal ourselves. There are many teachers out there who can help us do that as well. But we are to become alchemists. We are to recognize our own power. And when I think of the alchemist, I really think of the magician. The magician is very much an alchemist. Will make very powerful to make something out of a few ingredients. You know what I mean? They recognize their own power and show it to people, right? They are very confident in their power. They stand in their power. And even though the magician is someone who shows off that power, and very aware of their ability to manipulate that power. They know that it will be for their greater good to step into that energy of knowing, step into that energy of knowing who they are, okay, and owning that. That means owning your shadows, and using those shadows to come to the light. Okay, that's why your higher selves are coming through, because what's happening is that we're seeing things about ourselves that don't like at all, and we're being told with the alchemist card as well to basically merge our shadow selves with our higher self, because you're going to need the both of them to be a whole person, right? In order for you to be a whole person, you are to realize that there are some things about you that are very toxic. There are things about you that are not very nice. And in order for you to heal as a person, you are to see that about yourself and that of your inner selves. Okay? So that's what the alchemist card is saying. So, dear higher spirit, could you tell us a little bit about the alchemist as a child? What was the alchemist like as a child? Tell us a little bit about the alchemist. Tell us a little bit about the alchemist. The collective's alchemist. What is the childhood of the alchemist? Okay. You have the Queen of Swords right here. And what I'm getting from this is that when you were a child, you were surrounded by people you could not, that weren't trustworthy. There was a lot of distrust. A lot of, because you have the Queen of Swords upside down here. Yeah, like I'm just getting it like in my heart chakra, you were just very reserved. You did not like people being around you at all. You really did not. You really felt like people, not exactly what people are against you, but they didn't understand you. Okay? Okay, so I have the Queen of Swords upside down here, and I'm definitely getting some Scorpio energy around this. So basically, you were around someone who you cannot trust fully. They did not have your back fully. They did not understand they didn't understand who you were fully, and definitely were not trying to. I'm also getting to that this is possibly like a mother or an older sister type, okay, or an older sibling, and they were supposed to have your back. They were supposed to, yeah, I'm just getting a lot of, this person was very manipulative, okay, towards you. And I'm also getting too that, oh wow, like this, I'm just getting like this person had a lot going on in their heart chakra. Like they came off as nice to you, but in actuality they were not. They saw you as someone that could be easily manipulated. Okay? Like the alchemist um archetype is as a child, okay? You were seen as someone who was easily manipulated by whomever this person was. I'm definitely getting like a feminine Scorpio energy. Um, yeah, I'm definitely getting someone of a Scorpio energy. Okay, a lot of there was just a lot of things about this person that they weren't revealing about themselves, and there was like some sort of naivety as a result of that. At least from you, anyway. Um, I'm just getting that this person smiled in your face. They smiled in your face, but talked about you behind your back. Okay. So I'm just, yeah, I'm getting that this is a family member, like a female family member who did this. Okay. Um, I'm also getting the Seven of Swords. Again, very, whoever this person was very deceitful. Okay. This person was extremely deceitful, sneaky, very underhanded individual. Again, they talked about you behind your back. In fact, you were surrounded by people who did this. I'm just getting that there's a lot of darkness around this family. I'm not talking about evil or anything like that. I'm just getting like this secrecy. There was like this sense of secrecy um, around your family or some sort of family member. In fact, the whole family operated that way. Your whole family unit um, operated that way, and it was like this sense of survival. Okay, everyone was in survival mode. They felt like the world could not be trusted. It's as if like everything was this tight circle, and like I'm just getting this was a type this there was a part of you that felt like you were not a part of this circle, even though this that you were part of the family. You weren't seen as one of them. I'm getting black sheep. Okay, so there's some stuff that's coming up in this card is basically some of you were star seeds and didn't know it. Some of you were star seeds um, and did not know it, um, but you were considered strange. You had a lot of intuition, and because of that intuition, you felt like you were not connected to the family that you were born into. The Page of Swords, what I'm getting is that you didn't know a lot about yourself. You didn't know the answers. Okay, I'm getting that there's a lot of confusion as to who you are as a person. Okay, and as a result of that, that stuff, like I'm just getting like, as far as the age of these cards, the energy I'm getting. This happened when you were like when you were like real little, maybe like 3 or 4. I'm getting because I feel like you are surrounded by these adults or surrounded by people who really did not look out for you. And as time went by, it became extremely obvious that you were not one of them. Okay, as far as your behavior and as far as um, your perception of the world, it was completely innocent. Okay, but you were surrounded by a lot of water, air, and fire energy. Water, air, and fire energy. A lot of you were um, surrounded by that. Okay. I'm getting from you, there was an earth sign. So if you were a Taurus or a Capricorn, sorry, you're, it's as if like you found ways. Yeah, I'm getting that you found ways to cope in your situation. You found other ways to cope. Yeah, I'm just, so what else could you tell me, Spirit? What could you tell me about the alchemist as a child. There's a lot of cards jumping out, so please forgive me here. So you have the Three of Swords here, and this is actually the only card I have here that's not upside down. And so what I'm getting from the Three of Swords is that you're highly sensitive. So it would not surprise me if you had water in your chart. I'm just getting for you like a lot of heart centered beauty, heart centered energy. You're highly sensitive. Okay, your feelings were easily hurt. Okay, you were very hurt by your environment. Not only did you feel like you were the black sheep, you were told that you were too sensitive, and that um, you were not your feelings um, did not matter, and you were pretty much being told that um, you were not to be taken seriously. You are not to be taken seriously. I'm getting 9 years old from this one. I'm getting 9 years old. You were not like your feelings were not being taken seriously, and the Eight of Wands. You felt like there was just no way around this. I feel like this. I'm getting this feeling of feeling trapped. Okay, this feeling of feeling trapped. You really felt like you did not understand why people felt this way about you when clearly you really didn't do anything wrong. So again, you found ways because you could not escape. You found ways to soothe yourself and to cope. Okay, I'm getting a lot of reading. I'm getting a lot of writing. I'm getting a lot of playing by yourself. And spending a lot of time by yourself, even though you crave those relationships. A lot of isolation and loneliness. Okay, so that's what your inner child is telling me. So, what behavior and thoughts stem from dear inner child? What behavior and thoughts came from this? How did the alchemist behave as a result? What were the behaviors and thoughts? Could you tell me? I guess. Oh, wow. Okay. So, as a result of how you were feeling about yourself, I'm definitely getting like you felt like you had to be somebody you weren't. So, I have the Two of Pentacles here. And so, what I'm getting from this card, straight up and flat out, is that um, you definitely felt like you had to be someone you weren't. You definitely had to. You felt as if no matter what you did, no matter what you said, it seemed weird. So there was like this suppression of your true self. Okay, I'm getting that this happened during your teenage years, where um, you were. I'm also getting bullying too. So there was a lot of y'all who went through bullying. There's a lot of you who went through a lot of what I call in-house bullying, where it was just like people you really loved and cared about not allowing you to be yourself and to help you and they didn't help you embrace that part of yourself at all. So the Two of Pentacles was about being someone you're not and feeling very uncomfortable in your skin as a result of that, and you pretended to be whatever your family wanted you to be, just simply because it was better than being bullied. It was better than being talked about. So you have the Six of Wands here upside down, and you felt like, again, very much like a fraud. You felt like you were a fraud. Like there's this part of you that wanted to branch out. I'm getting like 14, 15 years old. You just felt very uncomfortable. Okay. And you knew, and you knew like intuitively who you were. But you began to forget because of your environment. Okay, I'm just getting a lot of I'm feeling the lack of support. I'm feeling like you literally had to be someone, and you just felt very uncomfortable, and you felt like you literally had to hide. You felt like this pull to hide yourself. Okay, I've pretty much out of safety. You also have the Four of Pentacles here, and what I got from this is upside down. And so what I'm getting from this is that I'm just getting like you really wish to share yourself with people. Deep down, you want to share yourself with people. Share your resources, share your gifts, share your stories. You definitely were craving for that. You're craving that. And the Pentacles cards are not just about money, but resources. And I'm just getting from this is that you wanted to share yourself with people. You wanted to share your ideas with people. You wanted to share your resources with people, your time, your energy, your love. And you were not, you felt like you were not given the opportunity to do this because your interests um, were very different from that of your peers. Okay, so that actually resulted in you possibly just becoming more and more isolatory. If that makes sense, okay. But it says but you have the Eight of Cups, and this is about rituals. It's about rituals, okay. I'm getting so I'm getting like you came up with your own rituals to soothe, and I'm getting self harm. You resort to this. Some of y'all resorted to self harm in your teens as a result of what was going on. Okay, like I see you by yourself in your room. Yeah, I'm seeing cutting. There was a lot of self harm, so a lot of you may have the scars on your arms still, because I'm seeing a lot of you just literally, or you attempted suicide or thought about attempting suicide. I'm definitely seeing um, cuts on the wrist, or you using a sharp object to harm yourself in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like you're doing that. You're hiding this. Your family doesn't know what's going on. In fact, you feel like they're not paying attention to you enough to even understand what's happening. So that is something that you are using to soothe yourself, to feel pain. Because I'm also feeling this in my stomach, like this sense, like you feel like you lack power. There's like this anxiety around. I just feel like this, like my stomach is turning and is tightening up. So that tells me right there that you also have had or experienced some sort of anxiety around being picked on. Um, I'm also getting to that there was someone that you had a crush on in high school that rejected you and has humiliated you using this knowledge. So they may have, depending on when you were born, they may have used social media, or they may have used, some sort of device to spread this information. I'm also getting to that. Um, People in high school, and I'm also getting high school energy from this too. I'm getting that certain folks like made fun of you in high school, and there was someone you had a crush on, or someone that you had feelings for, and they pretty much did you wrong. Okay, they pretended to like you, they didn't when they really didn't, and then they did something. Okay, they did something and made a spectacle out of it. I'm sorry if that happened to you. That's not okay. Bullying of any sort is not okay. Um, but it definitely made your ritual of self harming much worse. Okay, you have the King of Wands though. Someone in your life. Yeah. Oh wow. The King of Wands is a. I'm getting that this person. Hold on here. Is this a person that you had a crush on? Okay. Thank you. Whoever this is, the either the person, there was someone in your life that took interest in you despite all of what was going on with you. Okay, what was going on? They were very much a leader. I'm getting that this person was extremely popular among their peers, or I'm definitely getting someone who was a little bit older than you. No, this person was around. Okay, so this person was around your age, around 15, 16 years old. Yeah, they were extremely popular in school. I'm Oh wow, okay. So this is basically the person who had a crush on you. Okay. They had a crush on you, and they did you wrong. They were known for their popularity. They were known for being popular. They were known for um it would not surprise me if they were. I'm getting like, I don't know why I'm getting a sports jacket, but basically I'm getting like this person was a jock. Um Believe it or not. This person was interested in sports. Um but they did not like you that way. And that's not okay. So, a lot of your thoughts and behaviors in regards to transformation stems from um, a lot of your teenage years. Okay, that feeling that someone is not paying attention to you, or whatever, or um, feeling, or you feeling as if in order for you, uh, it was just like a cry for help. A lot of what you were doing because um, you were just being made fun of for being who you are. Okay. Let me see. Could you tell me more about the King of Wands here? Yeah, so a lot of your thoughts and behaviors stem from being, yeah, you were devastated. You were devastated. Um, you got the Knight of Wands here, so um, whomever you had a crush on, whoever you had feelings for, um, what I'm definitely getting from this card, this person is that they really didn't like you like that. They really didn't like you like that. And you were devastated because you have the Nine of Swords, which is about grieving and disappointment. You were very, very unhappy about. You felt like it was your fault that somehow you did something to cause this behavior that you were getting towards you, like all this hate and all this stuff. And what I'm getting is that that had nothing to do with you and everything to do with the fact that this person was just not a good person. They were not secure within themselves and they got their validation from other people, their popularity and how the world viewed them. It had nothing to do with you. Um, so they had a lot going on. Okay. So I'm just getting like, so what was going on there? So how are you affected as an adult? Because I feel like that one incident, that's your imprint. Okay, that's your imprint. That feeling of not being liked, that feeling of being rejected, that was the imprint for you. So how did this, how did that imprint affect you as an adult? Yeah, you didn't. You got the Ten of Wands upside down, so that basically tells me that you did not open up to a lot of people. You didn't trust a lot of people as a result of what happened to you. Okay, I'm getting that you really walked around thinking that no one saw you as attractive. No one saw you as a person who was worth loving. I'm getting that you did everything you could to hide yourself from other people as an adult. Um, I'm getting someone who often kept their head down and was very quiet. When in actuality, that's not who you are as a person. Um, and I'm also getting, oh wow, so you have the Six of Pentacles upside down. Um, So what you got here is that you really, not only did you you didn't trust yourself, but you didn't share yourself with other people. You didn't share your love, your time, or your energy with other people. You were afraid to do that because of rejection. You feared rejection. And you have the Ten of Cups here. I'm also getting that you were someone who just wanted someone to love you. You wanted a whole group of friends. You were looking for camaraderie. You were looking for that chosen family. I'm getting that you were looking for friends who understood, who stood you and who you were, what you were about, um, and you felt like as an adult that was just not possible for you because you had this because of the imprint, and the stuff that you went in high school. You went through. You've had many imprints. Okay, you're afraid that you are going to be rejected again. You carry that um, through you definitely carry that through your teenage years. Okay. And it really hit a head at like 14 or 15 years old. This person that you met in high school, the King of Wands, the one who was popular, I'm getting like 16 to 18. Okay, that you've carried, you met him possibly when he was 16 or when they were 16, and you held it as far as your feelings for him. You held that for quite some time, and maybe around 17, you told him, and it just went to hell, because of his status, his social status. Okay, so ever since, I want to say, to this day, to this day, I'm getting around as an adult. I'm getting multiple ages. Um, again, from late teens to early 30s, especially. There's a lot of stuff going like there was a lot of stuff going on as far as you distrusting people and feeling as if you have not found friends. Okay, I'm getting multiple ages. Okay, so it could be you're going to do work with your inner 40s, inner 40-year-old, 50-year-old, whomever. But I'm definitely getting that you don't trust a lot of people because of what happened in high school. Okay, so what can this person, what can the alchemist do to overcome these behaviors and thoughts in order to overcome? What can the person, what can the collective do? Excuse me. What can the collective do to overcome any thought or behavior? Any thought or behavior that prevents them from being who to stepping into their power. What can the collective do to overcome any behavior or thought that prevents them? Okay, gotcha. So basically, what I'm getting here is the Queen of Pentacles, and I'm getting here not to hold on to yourself. I got upside down. Don't hold on to yourself, and don't hide yourself, and don't be so quick um to basically see yourself as in a negative light. Okay, and basically, I'm getting to nurture yourself. I'm just getting like know that you have the power. Know that you have the energy to overcome this. Know that, for one, not to take this to heart. I'm getting to do not take this to heart. And what is happening is what happened to you in high school is not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong at all. You are to know. That for one, this happened in high school, and secondly, it is not your fault. This person had a lot of other stuff going on. Um, I'm also getting to honor that 15, 16-year old person. Connect to her, connect to them, connect to him, connect with that inner 15, 16-year old first and foremost, and let them know that you are beautiful, you are kind, okay, you are very special, and you have the power. You have the power to overcome this situation. You have the power to overcome this situation. You have the power to walk away from the taunts. You have the power to leave the blame where it is, and that is at the feet of those who have bullied you and did not see your worth. This is the time for you to see your worth and let them know that, look, you survived this, 16-year-old. You survived this, and let them know that it's okay for you. I'm also getting too that you are very creative. You tell your 16-year-old individual that that they are very creative, that they have a powerful imagination, and to use that imagination to help overcome whatever hurt they've been through, and that you have the power. They have the power to walk away from the situation and to never look back. Okay, and to forgive what happened, to forgive for their own peace of mind, for your own peace of mind. It's not about um, judgment. It's not about, you know, forgiving the person, for the sake of being, Christ like. It's about your own peace of mind. Your own peace of mind. Yeah, I'm just saying, let them know, let your inner self know that that they are special. And that they are special. And they are creative and they are kind, and there's nothing wrong with them, to their sensitivity, and they have the power to use that creativity to become an alchemist, to become spiritual. Because I'm also getting to that the folks who are hearing this message they're very spiritual, very spiritual. I'm getting that a lot of folks are druids, or very interested in druids spirituality. So you are to tap into that. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, nothing wrong with that at all. So what can you do to honor your inner child? What can the alchemist do to honor the inner child? Okay, you have the Eight of Pentacles here upside down. I'm getting the words, we are protected. Honor your inner child by knowing that for one, they are protected. They are protected. And I'm talking about spiritually. I'm talking about spiritually. They are protected. They are not to be afraid of themselves anymore, of their own power anymore. You are not to be afraid of your own alchemy anymore. You are not to be afraid of the past anymore. You're not to be afraid of your own strength. You're to honor your inner child by recognizing your own strength and that of your inner self. Okay? Because y'all been through a lot. You've been through a lot together. They've been through a lot. And by honoring their strength and their courage and seeing their own divinity, okay, and using their spirituality to create love, basically bring out their own love, bring out their own peace, see their own power, and basically, I'm just getting manifestation. You're very powerful. I'm just getting the alchemists and those who are listening. Y'all are very powerful, and so is your inner self. use that that spiritual energy to create a reality that makes sense to you, and do it in a way that's very loving and very powerful to you without causing harm to others. Because I'm getting that the moment you start seeing your own divinity and your own power, I'm just getting that this whole thing of you staying away from people and feeling as if people do not like you will dissipate. Will dissipate. It will definitely dissipate. I'm just getting with stop like this is stop protecting yourself and putting up a barrier to the point where you feel as if you're not going to be protected and you're not being watched, okay, and you're not being and your ancestors are not here for you. Okay, that's what I'm getting from that. Yeah, this is time for you to not be so protective of your energy to the point um where you're not connecting to people. Okay, and you're not connecting to people in a very holistic manner, in a very authentic manner. Okay, because your inner self, that 16 year old, they're tired of hurting and they're tired of feeling as if they have nobody in their corner. And also, if you do have friends, um, be aware of how they treat you. Okay, if you have people in your life um, that aren't here for you, by all means, be honest with yourself about that. But if you do have people who are here for you, also be honest with yourself about that, because not everyone here is here to cause you harm. This is a time for you to heal from that incident in high school. I'm also getting that that's the reason why y'all may have not had uh, a relationship, like a intimate relationship with anyone in years. Or if you did, it wasn't very meaningful. Or you have this feeling like they don't really like me, they're up to something. So in order for you to start the healing process, you are to stop putting your like this protective barrier around yourself, because quite frankly it's not working anymore. Like I said, it's 2020 and it's time for us to stop being scared of intimate relationships and stop being afraid of people, especially if you are meant to work with others. Okay? So now here are the words of encouragement. So what word of encouragement do you have for the collective today? The hunter. What does this say? I'm just getting to there's a lot of hunting around friendships and relationships. I'm just getting like this is a time to stop chasing. This is a time to start um if you're going to seek anything, seek out um people who are literally out here for you. I'm also getting to seek peace and to seek prosperity, especially when it comes to friendships and relationships. This is not the time for you to chase anything. This is not the time for you to um, pretend that people are your friends. This is literally the time for you to start manifesting and start working around meaningful interactions with other people. Okay, because I'm just getting manifestation, manifestation. So the Hunter card is about realizing your worth by not chasing. And if you are looking for any sort of meaningful relationship, then this is a time for you to seek your power and be the magician that you are. Okay, I'll just keep getting manifestation. So that's all I have for this week. Um, Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. If you resonated with the message in any way, shape, or form, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with your friends. You can also follow me, the Bowtie Psychic, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now Twitter. I'm always on Twitter, so you'll more likely see me on there. um,